Hi, everybody. Adele McLean, an ERISA consultant with ERISA Advisory Group, and I'd like to talk to you today about outsourcing your Employee Benefit Plan RFP process to an ERISA Independent Fiduciary and why it's important. So first off, as part of your fiduciary duty to the plan, the Department of Labor requires that you run an RFP for Employee Benefit Plan service providers every 3 to 4 years. It's just that simple. A lot of times people don't know or they've gotten comfortable with a service provider, but you're required to run an RFP for these service providers every 3 to 4 years. And this is to ensure that participants in a plan are not paying more for services than they should be, and that the plan is being serviced as it should be as well. So if you think about some benefits of using an independent ERISA fiduciary, industry knowledge comes first. Because this is not a required annual process like other RFPs, your team may not have current knowledge of the marketplace or the service providers who could really benefit the plan. So industry knowledge is key. And then we got to think about resources. I mean, it takes a lot of time to gather a pool of service providers that are suited to your situation, actually perform the RFP screening before the invitation goes out. And then we need to make sure that our RFP has relevant and updated topics. For example, recently there was a bulletin about cybersecurity. So we want to make sure that we didn't just pull an old RFP and submit it again, but that we go through all the relevant topics of now that are important to the Department of Labor and required by the Department of Labor. And then actually to run the process, establish scoring criteria, asking relevant questions when the written response is not clear, and distilling that information into a robust recommendation. That all takes a lot of time. And as part of our process, we provide the written documentation of the process and why we made the recommendation we made. We create board presentations, committee presentations, executive leadership presentations so that your team does not have to do that. So you get a robust recommendation and a presentation format from the process. And our process takes 12 to 16 weeks. And we allow the team to ride along with us because we want to make sure that the service providers that we ultimately recommend, that the team is able to work well with them and have developed some rapport. You can see more about the details of this process on our website. Just take a look under the RFP services tab. And the next thing we need to think about beyond industry knowledge and resources, our experience, having 29 years managing and running RFP processes for plan sponsors and fiduciaries. We perform hundreds of audits and they run the gamut. Audit for audit service providers, health plan administration, 401 plan administration, investment providers, legal services, and third-party administrators. So we have a lot of industry experience and knowledge with the process overall. And then finally, a benefit would be risk reduction. By having an independent fiduciary oversee the RFP process and make the recommendation, you have an objective viewpoint. And you may have less risk of DOL fines and penalties. First, you want to make sure that you run it every 3 or 4 years, and having somebody objective weigh in is super important. And then I know everyone knows about the class action lawsuits on fees and all kinds of things for plans, but having someone objective as part of the process would reduce the likelihood of a class action lawsuit as well. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out at Adele at ERISAadvisorygroup.com or take a look on our website to find out more information about our RFP services. Thanks very much. Have a good rest of your day.